Welcome back to STARR, the startling tales about radical responsibility. And today we are telling tales about the difference between a dysregulated nervous system and a liquid state. It's a research that's up in the year-long space auto training, which is a challenging space for even people who've been on the path of evolution for a while, because it's engaging their path at a new level of commitment, whatever that commitment they've chosen for themselves. And so this question that comes between what is the experiential distinction? How can I notice when I'm dysregulated or when I'm actually going through a liquid state that is authentic and therefore will lead to change? Because a dysregulated nervous system, as it comes from a place of being in survival, it does not create any different. It does not create change. It actually weakens your ability, your health, the sustainability of you actually growing up and going through initiation. But not only that, but just being in life from a place of unknown or groundlessness, which is transformational by nature. If you want to start making an experiential distinction, is a dysregulated nervous system means that you are in survival, and probably that you've been in survival for an extended period of time, triggering emotional reactivity in also your physical body and therefore your nervous system over and over again, without going through the healing and transformation that those emotions are actually asking for. So that would happen if you're lacking an inner structure, you're lacking a core structure inside of yourself where you can distinguish between who is engaging in transformation. Am I engaging in this space of healing or initiation or learning or practice because, for example, I have to, or because I will be better after this, I should fix myself. When I go through all this healing, then I will be better, or finally I will stop feeling so disempowered. So when you engage with a space of transformation from a place of survival, which could also be giving your center away, like I was saying, to those concepts before, but you could also be giving your center away to a person said, you should do this emotional healing process, or you should go to Rage Club. When you give your center away, then it is your box. It is your survival strategy deciding for you. And therefore, because it is your box, you're using your survival strategy to try to dismantle your survival strategy. And as you can tell, that is not a very effective way to go through transformation. So the nervous system dysregulation, as you can tell, is if you're in a constant state, especially of emotional fear, without listening, without grabbing the very powerful, useful information from those emotions as gateways for emotional healing processes or gateways for practices, then you are, in other contexts they would call it, you engaging the sympathetic nervous system and never can relax into a parasympathetic relaxation, digestion, but also that's the state that comes in after an emotional healing process. Also after a liquid state, there's this relaxation of letting go of a prison, of letting go of an old identity. One way that you can tell the difference between if you are being in survival and therefore dysregulated in your nervous system, or if you are in a liquid state, is in a liquid state, like I just said, after a liquid state, there's a form of relaxation. There's a joy, there's a closeness to yourself, there's a closeness to the world that was prevented by whatever wall your survival strategy was using before, and now actually you are ready to let that go. That's why it's coming up so strongly. So there's two ways that you can be in a liquid state. One is when you have emotions. So a liquid state with emotions means that you're making use of the emotion to go through this healing process. And that means not only going around and saying, I feel scared because I didn't do all the assignments, or I feel sad because I'm beating myself up, or I feel angry because, again, I'm giving my center away. When you just speak like that without actually feeling the immensity of the emotion behind it, you're just letting your box talk as if there's reality in it, or as if you're giving it credit. A liquid state, when you're feeling emotion, is opening the dam to what is causing the emotion behind. So is it the story, the piece of faultware, an old decision that you've made about yourself, or a gremlin survival strategy? That is what is behind all this emotional turmoil that creates the nervous system dysregulation. The emotional healing process is meant, as I was saying yesterday in EHP I held space for, is to have compassion with yourself, that there was a very good reason that you build this survival strategy to be able to survive the world, to be in the world. And an emotional healing process is about going back with this compassion to the source of, when did this happen? And now that I'm in a different situation, what do I want to do? And sometimes it is to change your mind, and sometimes it's not. So it doesn't require, the liquid state does not necessarily require this this brutal or epic change. Just the awareness of the journey that you went through with this survival strategy has led you here, and you're building awareness about it. So that's the liquid state with emotion. A liquid state with feelings is learning how to feel and express and experience your feelings consciously. And this is still an edge that we're working in possibility management to, when a feeling emerges, you have this choice of either letting your feeling go into the familiar known groove of your box, which will then turn into, it will trigger all these emotion. So when you let your emotion go through the groove of your box, you are reinforcing the stories of your box. You are reinforcing also the stories around your wounded identity, your child ego state. So the liquid state, when you have a feeling, is you let it emerge, and with noticing, I'm choosing not letting it go into your box grooves, to actually let it express and shine through your being, which is not a thing, which is a becoming. And the liquid state is the becoming of your being through letting your feeling inform you of its expression. So right now, for example, I feel sad. And I feel sad because of the pain, like the pain that I've noticed that people have been in, of engaging with transformational places from a place of trying to survive them, or trying to have their box survive their transformation, while their longing of their being is to expand and to unfold and to be seen. But yeah, what I'm sad about is the torture or the pain that people, and maybe you have been in the situation that you've make use of spaces that I've held to hurt yourself. And what I want is to have this distinction about, when is the box engaging transformational spaces, or when is it there's enough space in being for the being to engage that transformational space. And this is why I'm making this STARR. And so what I think is, at any place where you are, even if the place where you are is, I cannot yet distinguish between my box and my being to engage transformational spaces, right there are spaces for transformation. What I think triggers the nervous system dysregulation is trying to do steps of transformation that are 10 steps ahead of where you actually are right now. And if you can't distinguish yet and can't have a choice between your box and your being to do things that are challenging, or to create things, okay, but this is exactly where you are. And this is where you have power to do the work that you want by noticing, and that would be the practice, is to notice the imperative of survival. Right now in me, it's like, what do I think I need to do? Not to be alive, but what do I need to do to survive this conversation, this person, this space, this training, even this life or this day. And to notice not at the level so much of stories first, but to notice in your physical body the grip, the sensation, the taste of what does it taste like to be in survival, so that you can capture stories that are more subtle than your mind is willing to look at. So your physical body is a great place to start to capture the sensation of survival. It's a tightness, it's a tension. The problem with that is that maybe you've lived a lot of your life in that tension, and it feels so normal to you that it's invisible. So that's part of lowering your numbness bar to this imperative and sensation of survival. And then start doing the emotional healing process at the pace that will allow you to actually want that EHP, that you're not doing the EHP to get out of your survival strategy from a place of a survival strategy, because as you can tell, that would not be very effective. So do the emotional healing process when you have this necessity of, I'm longing to have the distinction between my box and my being, so that I can relax, like I can let this other part of me inhabit more and more of my life, of my thoughts, of my emotion, and of my creation, which is really this path of growing up into adulthood. At least the first couple of years that's one of the main distinctions that will come back over and over again. And part of this practice is, when you have feelings, when you're in a place of challenge, to notice this familiarity, to go into this box pattern of freak out, of survival, and to notice, okay, what can I do? Like, what can my being do? What do I want? But also, what can it do without going over the line to trigger the nervous system dysregulation, or the survival that will then dysregulate the nervous system over a long period of time. Something like that.